Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm glad we are live again. Our chat is back up, and I'm glad we are here to communicate one more time. So, how are you doing this morning? Can you see my screen? Can you hear my voice? Kindly type in a hi in the comment section so let's know we are all on the same page. Hey, 359, good morning to you. Glad to have you around. Glad to see you. Sisada 1975. Hello, how are you this morning? Good morning. Please, I need us to confirm that we can see my screen right now and you can hear my voice. This is necessary so that we can get the party started. Hey, Hashitaka, good morning. Glad to see you again after a brief break yesterday. Hey, Carrie, good morning. Yeah, thanks for that confirmation. Can we see one or two people confirming that we are good to go? Yeah, I heard about the heat wave in the London, in London. 34 degrees Celsius. Wow, that's hot. That's hot. I feel your tribe, guys. That's hot. I hope you are taking all the necessary measures. Drink a lot of water. Okay, 359, thank you for that confirmation. So I think it's time we get everything started. I want to welcome you all to yet another beautiful session of Extreme Speed Live, hosted by my humble self, Sheriff Daramola. I shall be taking you on a trading journey in the next 1 hour where we shall be using technical parameters to identify trading opportunities lining up for us during the New York session today. And another thing that we need to take into consideration is the fact that we are on the last day of the trading week. Thank God it's Friday, and definitely we want to be making sure that we don't jump into unnecessary trades today. So what we want to be doing today is to be looking at what we've deliberated on so far. We had about 6 to 7 pairs we've been monitoring since Monday, and we want to see how well they are. In fact, they all did well. On Wednesday we had good profitable trades, on Tuesday as well, and yesterday too we had some trading opportunities that we were able to take advantage. So we're going to be looking at these pairs, we're going to be looking at these opportunities, and we are going to be saying if we still have any potential opportunity lining up for us during the New York session today, and if we don't, I will be advising us to pass that trade. So without further ado, let's dive into the chart and let's see what is happening at this point in time. So the first pair we are going to be looking forward to at this point is the US oil as usual. And what do we have here? If you remember vividly what our discussion was on this pair yesterday, I told you how we should be first of all, we should have taken our profit. Remember, we were able to take some profit. We started the trade right from the right above the $89 level. I think on Wednesday or Tuesday, we started this trade and it took us all the way right into the bearish trend line. We were able to identify on the higher time frame, and we were able to take about 500 pips for this week on the US oil, which is quite okay and considerably good for the weekend. Right now, I may mention something yesterday where I told you price is right around the bearish trend line we were able to identify on the higher time frame. So you might be asking, where is that bearish trend line? Let's go to the higher time frame and let's see what I'm talking about so that we can all be on the same page. Okay, look at what has been happening since the mid-month of June. We were seeing consistent lower highs, and we were able to connect the series of lower highs together to give us that uniform bearish trend line that has been respected by price action over a couple of months now. And right now, price is right at this level. We are right within that bearish trend line. So you all know what our expectations are when price action is around a bearish or bullish trend line. So whenever we see price action around a trend line, what do we want to be doing? We want to be, hold on a second please, so what we want to be doing is to be patient enough to look at how price is going to relate with this level at this point. So one thing, there are two scenarios that could be happening from this point. We could be having a breakout of that structure, which could give us a signal that we want to be going bullish. That is, price is no longer respecting that bearish trend line, where a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to get ready for a bullish momentum. That's the first scenario that could be happening right around this bearish trend line. And the other scenario is that we could be having a reversal pattern around this area. It could come in form of a double top structure, a head and shoulder pattern, whatever that is. We want to be looking for a reversal pattern, a breakout of structure on lower time frame with confirmations to join the decline to the downside. So if we're going to be having a reversal pattern right under the bearish trend line, definitely we want to be seeing that area as a level where participants in markets are respecting the trend line. So now that we have this perspective here on the higher time frame, we need to scale down to a lower time frame to actually see what is going on, and if there is any opportunity lining up for us today, and if there is none, then we call it a week and we look at how price action is going to play out today. Then we determine what we're going to be doing next week. But let's scale down to the 1 hour time frame and let's see what is happening. And I want us to put this in the back of our mind. Remember that we are already profitable on the US oil, and we don't want to jump in unnecessary trades at this point, as we don't want to lose what we had made so far this week. So now on the higher time frame, what do we have here? Obviously, we are right above the key level at $93 mark, and one thing for sure that is that we identify on the higher time frame is this consolidation phase around that bearish trend line. So like I said, on the higher time frame, are we going to be seeing a reversal pattern, or are we going to be seeing a breakout retest of structure for a bullish momentum? So now, if we look at what has been happening since the beginning of the week, we saw this impulsive move to the upside, and as soon as price got into that structure, that is the bearish trend line here, we begin to see a consolidation phase. And one thing I have noticed here is this: as soon as price tested the $95 level, we can see how price tested that level during the later part of the New York session yesterday. Then we saw a move to the downside to around the $94 level, and then price came back up again one more time, but didn't go as far as the $95, which it tested during yesterday's trading session. So what did we see here? We saw a rejection at that point, and now we are not sure if this is going to turn out to be a reversal pattern in the form of a double top structure. Then if we are going to be having a double top structure here, then definitely we want to be seeing a breakout of that neckline. So what we want to be doing right now is to identify our neckline, and that's what we'll be doing by bringing our line chart at this juncture. Then we connect where price action met here. So I think it's around the 93. Hold on, let's see how that is. 93.70, I guess. Yeah, I think that's where price actually, that's our neckline, I think, for this reversal pattern. If, hold on, so we want to be given this a purple color to differentiate it from our key level. So we have a neckline right around, should we label it? Okay, let's give it a label, $93.70. Neckline at $93.70. Was it? Is that okay? So let's place it right at the top, left hand side of our screen, so that it wouldn't so we have something like this. I like to give this text a purple color so that it aligns with the color of the neckline. So we have a neckline right at the $93.70, and if we look left, we can see that that same neckline has a structure to relate with in the past. We can see how this level in the past, this is the $93 level in the past, we can see how that level has been a major determinant of price action, as hereby giving us a clue into the strength of that level. So now that we have identified a neckline here, so like I said, we have a, hold on, sorry about that. So like I said, here we have a structure that wants to evolve, that looks like evolving into a reversal pattern in the form of a double top structure. And remember, our double top structure is not yet confirmed if we don't see a breakdown of the neckline. So what we are looking forward to is this. We saw the first test of the $95 level, price came back into the $93.70 area, did a little consolidation around that area before we saw that bullish move to the upside. But one thing that we saw here is that price did not go as far as the $95 level, as we had a rejection at $94.80, and price is still moving at this point. So we want to be patient enough to look forward to a breakdown of that neckline, and that will give us a confirmation that price is about to respect that bearish trend line we identified on the higher time frame one more time. And then if this breakdown happens, remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal. We want to wait for price action to give us that confirmation, which is likely going to come in form of a retest of structure. And the retest of structure could be the retest of the neckline, or probably the bearish trend line, where we want to be looking forward to a reversal pattern on lower time frame to join the decline to the downside. So it's quite a long process, probably you might be thinking, but that is how we can make money from the market. We have to be patient enough to wait for price action to come to us, to come to our bus stop, so that we can join the bus to whatever direction price action is moving. So in this scenario we have here now, we have seen a possible bearish momentum coming in at this point, but we need to wait for signals and confirmation before we can actually join that bearish momentum here. So now that's the first scenario we're looking forward to. That's the bearish momentum we are looking forward to. Then the other scenario is this: what if, is it possible that we could be having a bullish momentum from this point? Is it possible? That's the question we want to be asking ourselves. And the reason why we want to be asking ourselves this question is simply because we want to expose ourselves to different scenarios, so that when the New York session comes in, we are not going to be caught in a dilemma of not knowing what to do. So if we're already exposed to all the possible scenarios that could come in, then definitely we are going to be well equipped and prepared to take advantage of that momentum when it finally happens. So now the other scenario that we could be looking forward to is this: if we are going to be buying the US oil, what we want to be looking forward to is a significant breakout of the structure. We want to see a significant breakout of the structure, and that is definitely going to come in form of an engulfing bullish candle. So we want to see candle close right above that level, that is taking out all selling positions from that point, taking all doubts away, and confirming that we are on a bullish trend. And if that is going to be happening, remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal. We want to wait for price action to come back and do a retest of structure, after which we're going, the retest of structure could be back into the neckline, it could be back into the bearish trend line that we identified on the higher time frame, where we want to be looking forward to reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. So the retest could come into the bearish trend line, it could come into the key level at $93 level, but one important thing we want to be looking out for is a reversal pattern on lower time frame, so that we can catch that bullish move. So these are the scenarios we want to be looking forward to. So on this one, I was able to explain to you how we could take possible bearish and bullish momentum, if that is what market is going to give us for the later part of this week. So I want to be deleting all these ones, as we don't need them at this point anymore, I guess. Okay, I think we're still going to need that. So let's delete this one. So that is what we have here. So what I'll be doing in the next 10 to 15 seconds is to read through the chat to see if there are any questions. If you have any questions regarding what I have just discussed so far on the US oil, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section. And if you think that you need further clarification, probably you need, I don't know, you might need a question, you might want to clarify some things, just drop in a word or two in the comment section and I will be willing to be of help. So what do we have here? Okay, Alpha 29 is saying we'll surely break that resistance. Well, we don't know. One thing we want to have in mind is this: we don't know what is going to happen in the market. That's the only way we can make money. That's when your mind is open to any possibilities. But once you have a fixed mindset that this is what's going to happen, you might miss that opportunity when it finally comes. So keep an open mind. We don't know if it's going to break out of the resistance. We don't know if it's going to respect the resistance level. One thing for sure we want to be doing is to have an open mind to see price action align with our structure so that we can take advantage of any momentum here. So Alpha 29, thanks for your comment. All right, 294, hi. 271, hello, good morning. Okay, I'm of the opinion that we all understand what I've just explained here, and in the absence of no question, I assume we just move on to the next pair, I guess. Okay, so let's move on to the next pair, and the next pair we'll be deliberating on is the US tech. It's funny on the US tech how price has actually been moving, and if we remember vividly what we deliberated on yesterday on the US tech, on a higher time frame, we're actually looking for selling opportunities. And one thing we did on the US tech was to scale down to the 15 minutes time frame where we were able to identify a channel that we were expecting price action to respect. So we identified this channel during the course of yesterday's trading session, and one thing we saw was that we saw a breakdown retest of structure, but price did not go to the downside as expected. All we saw was price breaking out of the channel with a retest of the channel to push price to the upside. But price moved about how many pips that is? About 90 to 100 pips before we started seeing that reversal pattern that pushed price to the downside. So if you are taking that move right from the retest of that structure, you actually had a good entry. But one thing that happened was that price, after hitting the $100 mark, I definitely must be sure that you must have made some money on this one at the breakout retest of that structure before we saw, or probably move your stop loss to break even to protect your position. So that's why I always say that whenever price has moved significantly well in your direction, try as much as possible to lock in some profit or move your stop loss to break even so that you don't get caught up in any unnecessary pullback. So now that we have the scenario here, we finally saw a breakdown of that level during the course of yesterday's trading session. That is, during the New York session, we saw a breakdown, we saw a retest of structure, and you must have joined the decline to the downside. Actually, if you had taken that opportunity, kudos to you for being on standby to take advantage of that move, as price was able to move over 120 pips move before the retracement happened. Right now, if we price is right back at the key level at $13,380 area, and one thing we see here is an interesting structure in the form of a reversal pattern that we are seeing here, giving us a further signal that we might be going bearish on this one. So we saw this move, price tested the 13,380 level, we saw a second rejection which was a sharp one, and we saw a breakout of that structure, giving us further affirmation that we are going bearish on this one. So I will be suggesting that if you had already taken advantage of this move, kudos to you. So you must be in about how many pips in profit right now? At least about 10-20 pips in profit at this point in time. So now that we are going into the New York session today, what is going to be our plans? Well, for what we have here right now on the on the US tech here, um during the beginning of this month, this trading session today, the first thing I observed here was this strong and sharp rejection of the $13,550 area. We can see this shooting star here, giving us a signal that we have seller strength at this juncture in this market. So the next thing I did was to identify this impulsive move to the downside from this level. So we had an impulse leg here, so I had to bring out my retracement, my Fibonacci retracement tool, and run it through that impulse leg to identify a golden zone area where I'm expecting price to come into to take advantage of a selling momentum here on the US tech. So what I'm expecting right now is that price should come in between my 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg, where I want to be looking forward to a reversal pattern to take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. So this is what I'm going to be looking forward to on a long-term perspective. So and if you look at the structure we have here at the supply niche, at the selling zone we're expecting price to come into here, you can see it shares a confluence with the bullish trend line, that is the dotted red line here. So we have a breakdown of the bullish trend line here. Price broke down the bullish trend line, and then we might be looking forward to price coming back to do a retest of that level, where we'll be looking for a reversal pattern to join the decline into our take profit target around the $13,000 on $13,100 area. So this is what I'm looking forward to. I'm still expecting a selling momentum here on the US tech, and if we consider what happened during the New York session yesterday with the sharp rejection of the 13,550 level by the sellers, it gives us more gives the bearish perspective more credibility at this juncture in the market. So I'm expecting a selling momentum here on the US tech. However, for those who took advantage of this move right at this point, well, I'll be suggesting that you move your stop loss to break even so that you lock in, you protect your position against sudden move to the upside. So I'm still expecting price to come right above this area with a reversal pattern within this area to join the decline. So let's see what's going to be happening, and if it doesn't, for those who take this, well, lucky you for taking advantage of that move. So our take profit target still remains at around the 13,100 area. That's the first area we are looking for, take profit target. And if we do have a breakdown retest of this area, we want to be adding more position with a aim as the $12,900 area as the second phase for the take profit target for any selling momentum here on the US tech. So this is what we are looking forward to on the US tech. So I hope you be on standby so that you can take advantage of that momentum when it finally happens. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, and I actually be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the chat to see if you have any questions whatsoever on this pair. Okay, 994, good morning. All right, 932, good morning. Taurus GB, good morning to you. So in the absence of no questions, I assume we all get the simple illustration I was able to share here on the US tech. So we move on to the next pair, which is the GBPUSD. And GBPUSD is actually moving as expected, as the bearish momentum has finally happened. Now, remember where we are during the course of the live session yesterday, where I was explaining to you that I already took advantage of a move after I saw the breakdown of the 1.22200 level, and though price actually went back up to retest that trend line one more time, and then price broke down again and we were going to the downside. Presently I'm in about how many pips in profit, and if you had joined me yesterday, like I said, you will already be in around 90 pips in profit at this point. And if you are with me on this trade, well, the first thing I will be saying right now is to lock in some profit. So the best area to lock in some profit at this point is a neckline we identified during the course of yesterday's trading session, which was at around the 1.21850 area. Now, going into the New York session today, what is going to be our plans? Well, considering the structure we have here, I'm still expecting that bearish momentum to continue, and the only way, what I'm going to be looking forward to is probably a retest of this neckline at the 1.21850 area, where I will be looking for reversal patterns on lower time frame to add more position to my existing trade. And if you are not yet in this trade, this is likely going to be an area you want to be looking forward to take advantage of any move to the downside. So where will our take profit target be here on the GBPUSD? Right between the 1.208 area and the 1.20450 area seems most appropriate to lock in some profit here on the GBPUSD. And the reason why we're having our take profit target around that area is simply because we have a structure to play around with. If we look at how price action started the week, we can see that we started from around this point and price has been rejecting that area. We had multiple rejections of that level in the past, so hence we want to be looking forward to how price is going to relate with that level, probably today or in the coming week. And if we do have a breakdown of that level, then a retest should give us further confirmation of continuing that bearish momentum. So let's see how price action is going to play out during the New York session, and I hope you be on standby to take advantage of that move when it finally happens. Well, you might want to be asking, especially for those people who are not part of us during the session yesterday, or who are not part of us making that decision on the GBPUSD, and let's scale up to the 4 hours time frame or the daily time frame, I guess, so that we can have an holistic look of what our expectations were. So we were able to identify a bearish trend line. After looking at the structure we have since the beginning of the year, price has continued to respect this bearish trend line in one way or the other. And since we saw the breakdown of the bearish trend line on the during the course of the month of April, we've been seeing price respecting this bearish trend line to push price to the downside. And during the early days of the month of July, we saw price come back into that bearish trend line to give us a scenario that looks more like a reversal pattern that is likely going to push price to the downside from that point. So that is why we were thinking of a bearish momentum around this area. So we scaled down to the lower time frame to look out for trading opportunities right around this area for any selling momentum. Since we are not seeing a breakout of that structure, then definitely if a reversal pattern happens there, then we want to be looking forward to a bearish momentum here. So we moved down to the lower time frame, and lo and behold, what did we see? After taking this move, we took this profit here on Tuesday, I guess. We took profit here on Tuesday. I think we took about, hold on a second, let me calculate how many pips that is. We took about 150 pips here on Tuesday. And what we saw is that as soon as price came into the bearish trend line we were able to identify on the higher time frame, we saw multiple rejections at that level. We saw the price move to the downside. We saw multiple rejections again to give us further confirmation that sellers are actually strong at this juncture in this market. And lo and behold, we have seen this move to the downside. So once again, for those who took advantage of this move, kudos to you. So we still look forward to taking more of this kind of opportunity as the week goes by, because we are in a very strong bearish trend line like I showed you here. So it's likely we're going to be seeing price crash somewhere around this level, which will be dovetailing to about how many pips on a long-term perspective. That's around 200 to 300 pips to catch here on a long-term perspective. So let's see how price is going to play out during the New York session today, and probably into the next week. So that is that on the GBPUSD. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section. I shall be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the chat to see if there are any questions. Okay. Okay, 603, good morning to you. Atu Auta 2K2, hello, good morning. Adi 07007, hello. 451, do you have any codes? Well, I'm not sure I understand what you are saying there. So let's see if you have questions. Any questions, please throw it in the comment section. So can we move on to the next pair? So let's move on to the next pair. The next pair we deliberated on yesterday is the XAUUSD, where we were expecting a bullish momentum, but it appears price is no longer going to be doing that as we continue to find lower highs. Now I will be showing you what the scenario here is like on the XAUUSD. Remember, we are around this point yesterday where I told you I took advantage of this move to the upside after we took profit here on the. Remember, since the beginning of the week, we have been in this trade right from this level here at $1,776 level, and we took this move to the upside. We rode all through into our TP target zone here, and that gave us about how many pips there about for the week. We had over 3,000 pips caught here on the XAUUSD. And with the sharp rejection of this level and price coming back into our 1,785 level, which has been a level that we were looking forward to for a retest of structure, we took another advantage of this move, right? Price went as far as the $1,800 level. But one thing we saw here is another rejection of that level as price came back again to the $1,785 level. And what did we see here? We continue to see that price continue to find lower highs. And with the lower highs here, I want to be negating any bullish continuation here on the XAUUSD, as we can see that price is already breaking down off the ascending channel we were able to identify on the 4 hours time frame. So you might want to be asking me, what ascending channel are you talking about? Well, let's scale up a little into the 4 hours time frame so that I can share with you a better perspective of the ascending channel we were able to identify. So here, if you look at what we have here on the 4 hours time frame, we can see how price has been finding consecutive higher highs and higher lows, which is caught up within an ascending channel here. So you can see how price has been respecting the channel. But one thing we saw during the week is that as soon as price tested the $1,808 level, we saw sharp rejections and price did not move. The rejection from this support level of the ascending channel didn't move significantly as expected, as price continued to find lower heights. And right now it appears we are right below the ascending channel, which looks more like price is about to break down the ascending channel to give us a signal that a bearish momentum is likely going to be coming in. So now we want to get ourselves prepared for any bearish momentum here on the XAUUSD. How do we take advantage of that move? So we scale down to a much lower time frame, like the 1 hour time frame. So what I want to be doing here to delete this, as this is no longer relevant, I want to delete this one too as well. For now, let's delete this the TP target zone here. We don't need it for anymore. So we are looking for selling opportunities here. So let's bring out our line chart, and after bringing out the line chart, we were able to connect the series of lower highs to find a uniform bearish trend line to guide our action into the next couple of days. So I want to be giving this line a red, and let's make it a little bit thicker, as this shall be our guide going forward. I think, okay, the red is good. So we have a bearish trend line right now. So now, how do we take advantage of? So what are we saying here right now? This is the last touch of this bearish trend line, and we saw that it has broken below the support level of the ascending channel. So what we want to be looking forward to is probably a retest of the structure. It could be the retest of the $1,790 level, or it could be the retest of the bullish trend line, or probably the bearish trend line here, where we look out for reversal patterns to join the decline to the downside. And now if we look at the level at the $1,790 50-cent area, we can see how this area has been a major determinant of price action in the past. So I want this area to be our new key level. So let's give it a purple, and then the lettering here should be in gold as well. So we have this. If we look left, we can see how this area has been a major determinant of price action. We can see the first selling opportunity. After the breakout, it became a demand. We had it as a demand here, and then we saw selling opportunities coming in from this point. So I'm expecting another selling opportunity right around this area. So as long as price still remains right below the $1,790 50 level, we want to be looking for selling opportunities. However, we can't ignore the significance of this level to us. So that is the $1,785 level. So if we see a further breakdown of this level, a retest of the structure should give us opportunities to add more position to our existing trade. So in the meantime, our take profit target on this one, when price moves as expected, should be between the $1,771 area and the $1,775 area, which is within this place. And that's going to be giving us about how many pips that is. That's about 1,500 1,600 pips to catch here if price moves as expected. So now that we begin to have a bearish perspective here on the XAUUSD after enjoying a bullish momentum since the beginning of the week, are we going to be having a possibility that a bullish opportunity could be coming in again? That is another question we want to be asking ourselves. We can't ignore that. So we have to be very, very flexible to be able to open our mind to various opportunities that could be coming in at this point in the market. So if a bullish momentum is going to be coming in here, well, I'm not going to be buying until I see a breakout of this bearish trend line. So I want to see a breakout of this bearish trend line before thinking of taking any buying opportunity here on the gold. So if I see a breakout of this level, that is price takes out all the selling positions at this level, then that gives me a signal that we might be going bullish at this point. But remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for further confirmation to give us that leverage that we are going bullish. So what we want to be doing is to wait for price to do a retest of either the bullish trend line here, that is the support level of the ascendant channel we were able to identify on the higher time frame, or probably price comes back to do a retest of both the bearish trend line, that is the new trend line we identified today, which also shares a confluence with the key level at $1,790 50-cent level area. Then we scale down to a lower time frame where we want to be looking for reversal patterns to take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. And if that happens, then definitely our take profit target still remain within that zone, that is between the $1,812 level and the $1,805 area for take profit target. So if I'm going to buy the XAUUSD, we want to be patient to see price break out of that bearish trend line to give us a signal that we are right back on a bullish momentum. However, if that does not happen, our momentum, our perspective here remains bearish, considering the consecutive lower highs we were able to connect since the beginning of the week. So this is my scenario here on the XAUUSD. So I'm hoping that we be on standby to be able to catch any potential opportunity lining up for us here on the XAUUSD. So if you have questions, do you have any questions? Is there an aspect during my discourse that you don't understand that you need further clarification on? If yes, drop in, go to the comment section and drop in a word or two so that we can look at it together. I'm very willing to be of help here. Let's see, so that let's open ourselves up to different opportunities that could come up so that we can get ourselves prepared. And that's why I always say that we should try as much as possible to screenshot my screen. You can munch my screen so that you can use it as a reference point whenever you are about making your individual decision on the pairs we are deliberating here. So I'll be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to look at the charts to see if we have any question whatsoever on the gold. So let's see what we have here. Narrow positive reading of GBPUSD, GBP news. Well, I'm not an advocate of trading the news because one thing I've come to understand, considering my experience in the forex market, is that the technical aspect of trading, it predicts whatever is going to happen in the news. So what we are looking at is the charts. In the charts, we have the major participant, the major players in the market actually are leaving footprints, and the footprints is what we see as chart patterns. So whenever a release or a news is about to come in, these people already know what is going to happen, and you would have seen how they are going to plan against the news on the charts just by looking at the market structures and the patterns you see on the chart. So what we do here is to look at the chart patterns to be able to identify possible structures that could be lining up for us during the New York session. And like I showed you here on the GBPUSD, we're already in profit here. You can see what we have here. What we did here, we didn't look at the news, we looked at the structure, we look at what participants in the market are actually doing. We saw multiple rejection of the major bearish trend line we identified on the higher time frame, and we were able to use that as a leverage to know that these people are actually going to sell the GBP to buy the USD, and lo and behold, that is happening. And if you are taking advantage of that move with me yesterday, you will definitely be in about over 100 pips right now. So that is what we do here. We really don't trade the news here. We look at market structures, we look at technical patterns, and use this to get informed decision on what to do during the New York session. I hope I made myself clear on that one. Narrow. And the next person here is Alta 2K2. Okay, nice to meet you. Okay, pleasure is mine. What is your question? 603, good morning. Okay, what's your question, Altaka? How can you help me to know the basics? Well, partake now, please. What action should I partake now? Buy or sell? Which pair are you talking about, Alta 2K2? Okay. So because today the number of the draw does not work. Okay, I'm not sure this is part of what we're talking about here. So Alta 2K2, please kindly confirm what you're talking about here. You said, do you want to buy or sell? Then regarding the basics of a thing, I would suggest you just read literatures, stay with us here, and continue to follow us here. As you follow us, you begin to understand how things work. It takes some time. You just need to be patient enough to be able to go through the process. It's a learning curve, and it takes a process for you to go through that learning curve, and just be patient about it. Stay with us here, continue to be around, follow me as we discuss here, and I surely you will get to understand how we how we play out here. And you can look for me on YouTube too as well. I have a channel there where I talk about basics and the whole that. So that's that on that. Hey, innocent babe, how you doing? I missed you yesterday. Trust you're doing well. Okay, you want us to do USD Jpy? Of course, we are going to do USD Jpy. I think it's part of our plans for today. So I'll try to touch that before we close for today. So what else next? Why there? It's clear. Okay, thank you. 1,790. Okay. You took a trade at 1,790. Where is that? 1,000. Okay, you took a selling opportunity. Did you take a selling opportunity? You mean, or you took a buy opportunity? What? Kindly clarify. Okay, you took a short. Yes, it's good. Just lock in your profit right at this moment. If you took a trade at 790, well, that's good. Good for identifying that. You can just lock in your profit right now. Move your stop loss to break even so that we don't get ourselves caught up in unnecessary pullbacks. So lock in move your stop loss to somewhere around the 1,788 area thereabout, or 789. Just lock in your position there, and let's see how price is going to play out during the New York session. So that's my advice for you, Wadia. Then Nero. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome, Nero. USD Jpy. We'll look at USD Jpy. Innocent babe. Good morning, Pipe 80. Innocent babe, I'm fine, thank you, and I'm glad you are doing well. And let's move on to the next pair right now. The next pair we're going to be talking on is the USD Jpy. And on the USD Jpy, we in fact took advantage of a very, very strong impulsive move that we have been waiting for I think we waited on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before we finally saw that move during the later part of the Wednesday trading session, and we were able to take over, I think, how many pips we were able to take here? We were able to take over 200 pips. Yes, over 200 pips here on the XAUUSD, on the USD Jpy. And right now, what do we have? If you were with me during the live session yesterday, we have the setup here. We were around this point here yesterday, and we were able to identify a demand zone here. We saw our price has been rejecting the 132 level. We saw multiple rejection of this level, and I was telling you that if this level continues to hold price action supported, then it might likely turn out to be a reversal pattern around this area. And when you see a reversal pattern within an engulfing move like this, a bearish impulsive move like this, then definitely that is likely going to probably be a retracement phase of that previous impulse leg. So if we are going to be having the retracement of our impulse, we might be seeing something like this, a breakout of this structure. So remember, we shared here that if this turns out to be a reversal pattern, then definitely we have a neckline here at the 133.300 level, where a breakout retest of this level is likely going to push price back into our entry level, where we want to be looking for selling opportunities one more time to join the decline to the downside. So that is one scenario we want to be looking forward to. And I told you that those who like taking counter trade opportunities could actually take advantage of that move if a breakout of the neckline happens. That is, hold on a second, let me show you what I mean here. That is, if we see a breakout of the neckline here, hold on, we see a breakout of the neckline, then a retest on lower time frame, we could join the counter trend opportunity. But I'm not a fan of a counter trade. I always wait for price to come to my bus stop so that I can join the trend from that point. So for me, I will be waiting for price to come back into this area to take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. And if you look at this level, that is the key level here at 135 Japanese yen, you can see it also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we were able to identify on the higher time frame. You might be asking me, what trend line am I talking about? Okay, let's scale up to the 4 hours time frame here, where we have the trend line. We have how we were able to connect the trend line here. So we saw since the mid-month of July, we were able to connect the series of lower highs here to identify that bearish trend line. Then we were expecting that move here, which happened, and it's likely our price will come back again into the trend line, looking forward to a bearish momentum from there. So let's see how price is going to play out from this point. The reason why I'm not going to be selling the USD Jpy right now is simply because of the structure. Let me show you the structure I'm talking about. This structure here. This is more like a double bottom structure. This is more like a reversal pattern, giving us a clue into traces of buying potential around the 132.200, 132 area, 132.200 area. So this area is giving me a sign that we have buying potential from this area. So that's the reason why I'm not going to be selling from this point. So I want to be patient enough to wait for price action to come into my structure here. Then I want to look for reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the decline to the downside. And like I said, if you are a counter trend trader, you could probably take advantage of a breakout retest of this neckline here at the 133.300. If we have a breakout retest of this level, then you go to the down to the lower time frame to look for reversal patterns. It could be your double bottom structure, inverse head and shoulder pattern to join the rally into this place. Then we now wait to see how price is going to relate with this level. Is price going to break out of this level to push price to the upside, or are we going to be having a reversal pattern again from this point to push price to the downside? So these are the scenarios we're looking forward to. So my advice is not to be selling anytime soon. Let's wait for market to come to our structure. And if you are a fan of a counter trend trade, you could take advantage of a breakout retest of the 133.300 level, which is likely going to be giving you about 170 pips to 200 pips around this point. So if you are okay with that, you could be taking advantage of that move at this point. So I hope I made myself very clear here on the USD JPY. Innocent Babe and Wadia, okay, you're welcome. 192, peace be unto you too. All right, Buju 885, good morning. All right, in the absence of no questions, I guess we just move on to the last pair of the day, and that is going to be the AUD USD. I think I have 5 minutes left to attend to this pair. So now on the AUD USD, remember during the course of yesterday we were expecting a bearish momentum here on the XAUUSD, but that did not come in as price is still oscillating right above the neckline at 0.70650. Remember I shared with you a perspective where I'm looking forward to a breakdown of this neckline, a retest of structure to join the decline to the downside, but that did not happen. So what are we going to be looking forward to going into the New York session today? Well, if we look at the structure we have here at this point, price appears to have been consolidating between. As soon as price tested the 0.71350 area, we have seen consolidation phases that looks more like a reversal pattern here. So one thing I want to first of all do here is to identify this level. We saw the first rejection here. We saw the second rejection here, giving us a lower high. And with a lower high at this point, it appears that we might be having a reversal pattern in the form of a double top structure. And what do I mean by that? We saw the first rejection here, price came down, we saw the second rejection here, and what do we have? We have price at this point. So we have something that looks like a double top structure from this point. So let's identify that level. So we have something that looks like a double top structure. So that level now becomes a guide, as we don't want to see if price breaks above this level, then all selling opportunities will be negated. But right now, with the structure we have here now, we want to be adjusting our neckline right into this place. If we look at the structure we have now, after finding a double top structure at that point, then definitely this area appears to be a good reversal, a neckline structure for our reversal pattern. So what level do we have here? 0.70950, 0.70950. So let's label this area. So that is our new neckline. Let me adjust this. It's getting interesting at this point as markets begin to unfold into a setup that is likely going to be massive in the coming week. So we have a neckline here. So we have a neckline here now. So that's what we have here. So once we have a reversal pattern like a double top structure, what's our expectation? Yes, we are expecting a signal, and that signal should come in the form of a breakdown retest of this neckline. So we're expecting a breakdown of this neckline to give us a signal. Remember, we are not getting too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for price action to come back and do a retest of structure to give us further confirmation of joining the decline to the downside. So this is what we are looking forward to now. We are waiting for price to break down this neckline. So let us wait and be patient to see a breakdown of that structure. Then we wait for price action to give us further confirmation in the form of a retest of that level. So where will our take profit target be at this point? Well, if we look at the structure we have here, we have a buying zone around this point. Then we have a structure around the 0.70 area and the 0.69750 area. So for me, I'll be advising that we move our stop loss, move our take profit targets to this point, which will dovetail to about how many pips that is. That's around a minimum of 120 pips to catch here if price move as expected. So like I said, we're expecting a breakdown retest of that level to give us a confirmation for the AUD USD. So on this note, I think this is the last pair we will be deliberating on today. And if you have questions, drop in a word or two in the comment section. Okay, Innocent. Okay, you're welcome, Innocent Babe. Any other question before we start the recap of what we have done so far? All right, so let's move into do a recap of what we have deliberated on since the beginning of the session. Thank you, Idea, for that confirmation. So let's move into the first pair we deliberated on today, which is the US oil. And what was our expectation on the US? Wow, now we have a signal already on the US oil. Remember, we were able to identify something that looks like a reversal pattern here, which lines up around the bearish trend line we were able to identify on the higher time frame. So we have a breakdown of the neckline at $93.70 level. So now that we have a breakdown, please be patient. Please be patient. Don't try to jump into the moving train at this point, as we want to wait for price action to come back and do a retest of our structure, which is the neckline here, or the bearish trend line, where we want to look for structures on lower time frame that support a trend continuation to the downside. You might be saying, if this price continues to the downside from here, I might miss that move. Fine, that's fear of missing out. That's FOMO. We don't want to get up in that energy. So let's wait for price to come back and do the retest of the structure at the 93.70 level before we move to join this decline. So, and if it doesn't come back, let's forget about it and let's pass the trade and wait for Monday to see how price action will play out. At least we've made some money here. We joined the rally from this point at 88.38 into this level with over 600 pips here. So it's okay. We've made money on the US oil for the week. And if this does not come back into doing a retest of structure, let's pass the trade. But one thing I'll be advising here is that we wait for price to come back and do a retest of the structure to give us further confirmation to join the rally. So that's that on the US oil. Then we moved on to the US tech, where price has continued to move in the bearish momentum, especially for those who took advantage of the multiple rejection of this key level at what $13,380 level. So if you are taking advantage of that move there, kudos to you for taking advantage of that move. However, I personally am still waiting for price to come into the supply niche, and if it doesn't come, then I just pass this trade. So if you are in, kudos to you. Take profit targets still remain around the $13,100 level as we monitor price action during the New York session. Then we moved on to talk about the GBPUSD, where we took advantage of that bearish move around the 1.22200 level during the course of yesterday's live session, and price has been doing very well as we are right now in over 100 approximately 100 pips in profit on this one right now. And I told you that for those who were with me on this trade yesterday, what I will be advising right now is that you move your stop loss either to break even or to lock in some profit. For me personally, I locked in my profit right around the 1.21850 area, where I'm looking forward to price to come back into this area to do a retest of the structure, where I'll be looking for reversal pattern on lower time frame to add more position to my existing trade. So for those who had missed this move from yesterday, from this point yesterday, definitely we want to be waiting for price to come back and do a retest of the neckline around this point, where we'll be looking for opportunities to take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. Now our take profit target, where will it be? If we look at the left, if we look left, we can see that since the beginning of the week, price has continued to reject this level, where we've been seeing bullish momentum that took this move to the upside. Remember, we were able to take advantage of this move during the I think on Tuesday we took advantage of this move. So we're expecting price to come back into this area. So let's aim at around, from this point to this point is around the 120 pip to catch here if price move as expected. So let's stay tuned in to take advantage of that move when it finally happens. So we moved on to the XAUUSD, that is the gold, where I told you that I'm expecting a bearish momentum considering the new bearish trend line we were able to identify here after connecting the series of lower highs here. After connecting the series, we were able to identify that bearish trend line. And another thing to buttress the point of a bearish perspective here is the breakdown of the support level of the ascendant channel, where a retest of structure, either the retest of the bullish trend line here or the bearish trend line here, or the key level at $1,790.500 level, but most importantly, what we are looking forward to is a reversal pattern that will support a trend continuation to the downside from this point. And I think someone was asking that he or she joined at the $1,790 level, which is good. And I told you that you should move your stop loss to break even at this point, so that you lock in your position, so that you don't get caught up in any unnecessary pullback. Now, for us here, we're waiting for a retest to join the decline to the downside. Remember, we made profits here since the beginning of the week. We made over 3,000 pips from, we took this move from here, and we took us right into our take profit target zone with about 3,000 pips. So we are profitable on the XAUUSD for this week. Then we moved on to the USD Jpy, where I told you that I'm going to be patient here to wait for price action to come back into our structure to take advantage of a selling momentum. That is, I want to see price come back into the key level as the 135 Japanese yen area, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we were able to identify on the higher time frame. So I'll be looking forward to a reversal pattern from this point to join the decline to the downside. However, I made mention of the reason why I'm not going to be selling at this point, considering the demand zone we are able to identify here. And I said that looks more like a reversal pattern, and we have the neckline of this reversal pattern at the 133.300 level, where I said for those who are comfortable taking counter trend opportunities, we could wait for a breakout retest of the structure on lower time frame to join the rally into this level, which will give you about 200 pips to catch there if price moves into that level. And I also advise Innocent Babe to hold on any sudden opportunities here if as long as we are not seeing price back into our structure at this point. So this is what I'm looking forward to on the USD Jpy. So let's see what happens. Then the last pair we deliberated on is the AUDUSD, where we were able to identify a reversal pattern around this point, and we said we have a neckline at 0.70950 as we wait for a signal in the form of a breakdown of this level. So if we see a signal in the form of a breakdown of this level, then a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to join the decline to the downside. And we have our take profit target right around the 0.69700 and the 0.700 area for our take profit target on the AUD USD. So it has been quite a wonderful moment, as first of all, we are back live on our charts. We had issues yesterday, but thank God our technical teams were able to resolve this issue. We're able to communicate one more time once again today, and that is good news. And I want to wish you all best of luck during the New York session today. Please don't trade based on impulse. Wait for your confirmations to happen. When you sight a signal, you don't get too excited at the sight of a signal. You want to wait for price to give you further confirmation in the form of a retest of your structure. Look out for patterns in lower time frame that support a trend continuation in the direction you are looking forward to. So on this note, I want to wish you a wonderful weekend and best of luck during the New York session. Well, I hope to see you same time on Monday, 10 a.m. UTC, 11 a.m. West African time. Advise your friends to download the Extreme Speed Live app so that they can also join us in looking at the financial markets together. So thank you and do have a wonderful day. Bye bye.